Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. I hope that everyone is doing okay. I think we are now in our 9th week of lockdown here in Scotland. Still surviving, still doing what we need to do. Thank you, Maurice. Yes, I had Twitch on my other browser, and I was waiting to hear that sign was coming through, so I checked that. Before the stream tonight, I've been messing around with a few settings in both Twitch and Stream Deck to see if I can make a couple of little things a little bit smoother. So I've fixed the issue that I was having last week on Twitter, where it wasn't updating my name to say that I was live on Twitch. So it's now done that. So rather than saying my name, it's now saying live now on Twitch. So I fixed that part. It seems like it was a square bracket that was causing the problems. It didn't like the square bracket that I was trying to put round the live now part. So I've removed the square bracket after a little bit of trial and error, and it seems to be working. So that's all good. Kim's saying that it's the 10th week here in Norway, although I can't say it's lockdown. We've started slowly opening things so it's similar here similar here in parts of the UK. Certain things are starting to open up again. Scotland's running slightly behind the rest of the UK at the minute. So our First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, has said that she won't open things up in Scotland until she's happy with the medical input, etc. She's not just going to copy what the rest of the UK is doing. So we're still technically in lockdown. We're allowed outside to exercise. At the minute, we're now allowed to exercise as many times as we want. And the recommendation is still to stay at home if you don't need to go out. And yeah, Maurice, I've lost count. I only know that number is that number because my wife has written it in the calendar. So every week she updates it to say what week we're on. So we're currently on the 9th week. Had to count the weeks since the 12th of March. Yeah. So my wife keeps me up to date with things like that. So, as I said on my tweet that I sent out, I haven't really got much of an agenda for today. I want to go back and finalize the review on Maurice's PR that I have up here, which is to prevent the automatic outdated package check on Chocolatey GUI. And then I've got at least one other thing that I want to dig into that I think could be interesting. And it's something I've played with before, but didn't quite get working the way I wanted it to. So I think I can go back now and revisit it and get it up to date. So that's kind of really the only things that I have in terms of what I want to do. If there's anything that either of you or anyone else in the chat room would want to have a look at, feel free to shout and we can certainly take a look at that. But like I say, my main aim was to test this out and get it merged in. And if everything looks good there, we'll move on to the one other thing that I've kind of hinted at but I haven't mentioned yet. Let's just make sure that we get this PR up to date first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my develop branch and I'm going to delete the local branch that I have here, which is the feature branch, and I'm going to refetch it because I want to make sure I've got the most up-to-date one. So that's that one gone. And what I want to do is, because I took it down because I was adding some stuff, but I will make sure I get the most recent one, which is this one from Maurice. So let's do a fetch from Kevinar. And let's do a checkout of the feature branch that is on Maurice's fork, which is there. So if we go back to here, we should have an additional commit, I think. There we go. Okay, So let's see where we get to with this. So what's the latest with two folks that are in the chat room? What's the what's happening in the Netherlands and Norway? What's been the latest bit of news? Still not gotten. No, I haven't gotten switched to my fingers. I really haven't. I've the main thing is the autocomplete. I still don't think PoshGit is up to date with things like that. So Git checkout still has its benefit because of the tab complete. I've not went to check to see if PoshGit has updated to include that yet or not. But if it did, if it's got that, I will certainly switch over to it. See, that's the main one. I keep going back to it. So Maurice is saying, what is new is that I will be doing a talk during Veeam On 2020 online about Veeam and Chocolatey. Yes, this was exciting news. So I was excited on your behalf when you told me about that. Have you got a link there, Maurice? I can pull that up if you want to put it. Perfect. So let's grab this link and we'll bring it into the stream so that folks can see it. Copy. Bring it over here. Oh, you're not on the list yet. Okay, so but folks will be able to see you in the speaker section at some point. And Stevie's just arrived in the chat room. Hello, Stevie. How are you doing today? So we were just saying that Maurice is going to be taking part in VeeamON 2020, where he'll be doing a talk on Veeam, Chocolate, and I'm assuming Boxstarter is part of the talk as well. Maurice, is that right? So at some point we will see Maurice's face up in here. But it's all online, but is it still a paid? Is it still paid? What am I trying to say? Is it still a paid conference, Maurice, or can anyone attend? It's free. Oh, even better. And it's June 17th to 18th. So if anybody wants to learn more about Veeam, definitely check it out. Okay, so that's that. So where I was going to go was I was going to go over here and reopen Chocolatey GUI. And yeah, also that part's been updated, has it? Let's bring that up as well then while we're here. So if we go over to, oh no, I had seen this actually because I showed some folks on the Chocolatey Slack this. So for those that didn't know, Maurice recently became a Veeam Vanguard, which to the best of my understanding is the Veeam equivalent of the Microsoft MVP program. So if we scroll down here, we will be able to see, well, maybe let's just search, maybe quicker. Here's our very own Maurice. Maurice Kevinar is a system engineer at Info, located in Amsterdam, package maintainer and moderator for the Chocolatey community repository, and contributor to open source project. Look at that, and all his info's there. So he is in some great company there as a Veeam Vanguard. So hat tip to you, sir. Right, but this Chocolatey GUI PR was, where did we leave it? So if we just run this, oh, the second B on that link was to his Chocolatey profile. I think I still got it on the clipboard. If we go down here and search for Maurice again, then the B being blog, maybe. So that's to his Maurice's own blog. That's to his profile on Chocolatey, Twitter, LinkedIn, I'm guessing, and GitHub. Yeah. So where we left this PR was it wasn't quite working, or it wasn't quite working the way we wanted it to. But I think a combination of Jan and Maurice got it to a point that it was working. So what's currently happening is that it's running off just now and it is fetching the outdated package information. So let's take some of these breakpoints off. and see where we get to. So it's running out, it's running off, and it is checking which ones are outdated. And what should happen is that the outdated information, I don't believe I don't have anything outdated, so is my settings not there? Where do we leave it? We said prevent automated outdated packages check. It's currently on, so it is doing what we want it to do in the sense that it didn't populate it. So that's good. Where we got to was we had some debates around whether this was going to work or not. So remind me, if we said that if it's prevented, this button, what do we say this button should do? This button should force it, and that's why we changed the wording to forced. So if I run this, then do we get the outdated packages information? It looks like it's fetching something. So if it does that, then when it finishes, waiting with bated breath here, then we get the outdated information. Cool. Okay. So if we go back to here and we purge the outdated packages and we switch this off again, then when we close this and we reopen it, I shouldn't have any outdated packages information, he says. And it should go off and fetch it this time round. So it's running, it's running, it's running. And then we get the outdated package information. Okay. Now, the other things that I think came to mind last time was if we purge it again and we set it back to being on, we close this one more time and we run it, then what happens when we switch to the remote feed? Did we come to a decision about what should happen there? So it will load the packages but won't load the outdated information. If we come over here and it's fetching packages just now, so it's installed but it doesn't have the outdated information. So yeah, there's a lot's happened since then. We've been doing a lot of stuff and I don't remember what we did on the stream, I'll be honest. So we implemented it so it looks like we've implemented it such that it's doesn't do the fetch on switching to the remote stream. So that will fit in with what we decided, and that's what I think why we changed it, or we refined the description to say both local and remote. So that's good. And so that part's working then. And then if we click this button, which was the force, and that's why we added the text forced onto that, that should force the checking for the outdated packages, at which point some of these will be also marked as outdated. Okay, perfect. So I think we're good then, although it's came a way to put a spanner in the works here. Should there be a note that outdated packages haven't been checked? I don't necessarily disagree. Where would you see that being? Where would you see that? Where would you see us putting that, Cam? As in, yeah, where would you see that living? I don't. because it is something they have to opt into. So it's not on by default. So that setting is disabled by default. They'd have to knowingly come in here or via the Chocolatey GUI CLI and set that feature. So by default, we will fetch the outdated package information. Try to think where on the UI would make sense to have that information. As in maybe just like an initial prompt to say like a toast message at the bottom here. I don't know. Could we do some sort of this? So that's kind of where I was thinking with the pop-ups, Stevie. So yeah, maybe. Hello, Brave Cobra. How are you today? Could be a small message at the bottom, a la our COVID banner on. Oh, I see what you're saying, Stevie. So what you're suggesting is a banner up at the top here, which when they've read it, they dismiss it and it doesn't come back. Yeah. I think though, so not to muddy the water too much with this, I think we should take that as a separate addition. So this feature that Maurice worked on was all about the preventing of the automated outdated package check. So I think that part has been achieved. So if anything, we should add a new feature for that. So Kim, that was kind of your suggestion. I don't. Did you want to write up an issue for that, Kim? If you could, that would be great. I'm going to have a quick read through this changes in this PR, and then we'll get it merged. So we're getting the current feature and using it within here, and then that is changed to the formatting, so that's fine. Change since last view. Hold on. What's happening there? And Stevie's also saying a C# toast notification would be really simple if my apps doesn't do a banner thing. I would imagine they've got something we could use. I guess it comes down to whether we want it to pop up within the application or out with from a Windows point of view. I think within the app makes most sense, I think. So I'm going to say that I've looked at that one. Change since last view. Oh, I see. Okay. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, so maybe I marked that one viewed, and now it's interesting. So we added in the cache service. Oh, because we were allowing it to be called. Okay. And then clearing the packages. That was for the reloading and refetching. I remember that. So, and this was the part that Jan added in. So let's say that we've done that one. This was us using the cache service, and we were either loading the packages or not. That looks good. And then this was the addition of the button. All good. That was the addition of the button. All good. Not even going to look at that. This was the addition of, there's a bunch of white space changes in there. That's fine. We added in button check for outdated packages with the wording check for outdated packages forced. Check for outdated packages forced. Prevents automated check for outdated packages on local and remote sources. Well, that looks good to me. And then that was a change to the interface, which is an internal, well, it's only used internally, so adding it in is fine. And Maurice also added in this information to the new spec, which is good. Just when I'm thinking about this, Maurice, if you've got your ears on, can I also get you to add an issue to update the docs? So I'm going to say, well, that's okay. I'm going to say merge, and I'm going to say Kevin R. I'm going to say PRT. Oh, that isn't what I was going to say, but if you could, yes, that would be good. Oh, I should say thanks to Jan here as well. Thanks also for your help on this. Oh, the PR coming in. Okay, hold on. PR's flying about everywhere. Before I forget, Maurice, what I was going to say was, issue. Okay, perfect. There is some docs that I've got on the go, Maurice, which is listing out the features that are available. So let me remind myself on where those things are, because we'll need to add one in for the new feature. So if we go into our docs and we look at features, then the features that we have available are in here. Could I get you to add a new one, which was for the new prevent feature that we just added in? Now, it could be that there are other docs in here that need to be added based on some of the other additions that we've made, but if you could add a new one into here for the one that you added, that would be good. So the intention here is that we have some docs for each of the configuration options as well as the features of Chocolatey GUI. So if you could add that in, that'd be great. I saw there's a couple of questions fly through there. So Brave Cobra, yes, I and along with some other folks in the community, Maurice obviously being one, and Kim as well, and Jan and Manfred also helps out as well. We maintain the Chocolatey GUI project, yeah. New spec and Kim's open issue, thank you very much. And Stevie's asking, what was that wizardry? Okay, let's not. Let's go back to where we were. So let's say we were going to look at this one. If I'm adding a comment, or if I'm adding a comment to anywhere in GitHub, GitHub has the concept of a predefined reply, so you can add your own. So I've got a couple in here, one of which is a pull request thank you message. So the way that I can bring that up is if I click on this and I just start typing PRT, then it's PR thank you. So it's just filtering down based on what I type in here. So I've got a couple in here for some cake related stuff that I do, but the main one is it's basically saving my fingers from having to type the same thing over and over again. It's baked into it's baked in directly into GitHub. So in your settings screen, let me just make sure that I'm not giving the game away by bringing it up. Let me see if I can bring it up and show you it on the live stream. Where is that information? The account. Change username. Where is that information? I'm trying to remember where I set it now. Profile, preferences, jobs. No, it's not in there. Oh, saved replies. There we go. Yeah, I'm not giving the game away if I bring that up. So if I copy that and I paste this into here, and Kim just found it as well. So under your settings screen, if you scroll down to save replies, then you can bake in whatever you want to type, give it a title, and then when you're filtering on it, when you're searching for it, you can filter based on the text in the title, and then it just automatically populates the text into the issue. It can be really useful for certain things. Here we go. Oh, so there's a comment from Brave Cobra there about my choice in open source projects. There's definitely a food related theme, Brave Cobra, to my to my open source usage. Chocolatey cake, chef that I saw Maurice mention there. I think was it Maurice. I think it was Maurice. I've lost the text now. It was. I also do test kitchen. So there's a kitchen related. So it's I'm in the kitchen baking up a chocolate cake to a chef recipe. It's horrible. It really is. It really is. And yes, Stevie, it's entirely useful. I use it all the time. And yeah, don't share my GitHub key again. Is what you're meaning there, Rodney? Because it wouldn't be the first time. Normally, I have Maurice on hand to tell me when I'm doing something silly. He's very good at that. It wouldn't be the first time I've given away my API key on a stream. His key is Gary's amazing. I did make a New Year's resolution in December there that I wasn't going to give away any passwords or API keys this year, and I haven't technically done that yet. So I'm still on track to keep up with that. He does all but the kitchen sink. He even does trampolines now. I do. That thing, oh my goodness, I don't know if you folks saw it or not. That thing took longer than it was meant to put up. Oh my goodness. I'll bring up what I was talking about, and then I'll go on to the next thing. So over the weekend, I erected a new trampoline for my 2 children. And this thing, oh my goodness. It took longer than I thought it was going to, let's put it that way. It all started the day before. So this was on Sunday, but it started on the Saturday where I started building this thing. And I thought everything was in this box, but it turns out there was bits missing. I went to start building it, and there was it had what I thought was all the bits in it. It had springs, it had the actual mat, it had all the stuff. Then I found it only had 1 page of instructions, which didn't have any instructions. So I got onto the company, and then it turns out that it turned up the next day. So there was another huge box that went with it, and then I couldn't not build it anymore. So, and it also came with instructions, which was good. And we started off making this thing, and it took. So this is my eldest child here. She was very helpful, but then she also then decided she wanted to have more fun playing with these blue plastic things with her sister. They were sitting in the box and they were rowing down the imaginary river that they were sailing on. It was quite funny, actually. But the end result was that this trampoline went up, and the children were more than happy with it. So that was my weekend. Took far too long to build, but we got there. Anyway, exactly, Kim. So I wouldn't have done it without instructions. I'll be honest. If the instructions weren't there, I would have had to go to the company website and dig them out. But luckily, the instructions turned up in the second package, so that was good. And yes, Kim, I think we want to. This is something I want to add as an improvement, and I think we'll ship that as part of the next release. So let's put that in there. What is up, man? I would love to say so. Certain things, I definitely take that approach. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to build it. But something that my 2 youngsters were going to go into, I said, we should read the instructions. So the thing that I wanted to look at, because I want to move away from Chocolatey GUI for a minute. Time to go to actual work. Okay, Stevie, have a good one. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Ooh, Stevie's giving the game away here. What Stevie's referring to there in the chat room with our QDE is our Chocolatey quick development environment. So basically, it's a way to get up and running very, very quickly with Chocolatey and all the bits that go with it. So earlier, tail end of last month, Stevie and a couple others in the team shipped the first version of QDE. So he's been working in the background on a new version, which sounds like it's ready to go. I've heard people mention what we were talking about there. Especially since... Oh, I see. I'm catching up now, Brave Cobra. Okay, so what I wanted to look at was I was reviewing some PRs over the weekend for this cake recipe VS Code, which is a VS Code extension that I maintain. And as I was going through the Dependabot PRs for this project, I noticed that I had this PR sitting. So this is a PR that I created back in December last year. My goodness, time flies. Now I had... Yeah, no, see, that doesn't make any sense. I had created this PR, but what I'd hoped for... So let's go back a step. I added in to this project a workflow that uses the rebase GitHub Action. Because what I basically want to achieve is I want to be able to create a PR, and if it needs to rebase on the head of the branch that it's going into, what I wanted to be able to do is I wanted to be able to have it rebase on that PR. But I noticed that this PR that I have up here, it didn't do anything. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. But I spoke to the developers of this tool, and they suggested that they can get it to work the way I want it to. So I wanted to go back and revisit. Getting this thing working. So the first thing I guess that I should look at is whether or not this is still the most recent version. So let's go and have a look at this and see what version it's at. So it's at 1.3, and what went into this one was workaround to allow to specify user tokens to support rebases for PRs from forks. So that sounds more like what I want it to be able to do. So as a first stage, let's set that to use the version 1.3. So in here, Twitch is annoying on my side tonight. It's jumping back and forth during the stream. So I am getting a slightly worrying indicator in the bottom right hand corner of OBS, which is going green, orange and red and yellow, and it's fluctuating between that. So I don't know if that's something on my end or not. It's the first time I've knowingly seen that happen, but I also don't know what it means. It's a green square that goes yellow, that goes red, and beside it it's got kilobits per second, which I'm assuming is my upload speed. But to me, the numbers that it's coming up with would indicate success, or although it is telling me it's dropping frames. That's the first time I've seen that happen. Let me try and help out a little bit. Let me close this. I'll close some of these things, see if that ultimately helps. See what else I've got running here. You can go away. You can go away. Let me clean up a few things here. The girls should all be sleeping, so I can't blame them for it not being up to snuff today. And it's still going. Oh, whoa, what did I do? Funny story. I'm just going to go and put my VM back up. I'm gonna I switched off my VM that I was using to show everything in the stream. So let's get that back up and running. No, not all three, no. But the two youngest ones certainly should be sleeping by now. But yeah, is there anyone who's still on the... Rodney, are you seeing any lagging or strange behavior on Twitch? Or is it isolated to both Kim and Maurice at the minute? I'll close this. Dang it! That would suggest it's me then. That's not good. That's not good at all. And Brave Cobra is as well. So okay, so it's definitely me. Your audio is fine, the video is lagging. So how do I improve that then? It's telling me I've got drop frames as a percentage. But you're back to normal, it seems now. Okay. I don't think there's anything else I can turn off which would give it any more of a boost. So let's carry on, and we'll see how it goes. If you can keep me posted on that would be good. So I mean, Brave Cobra, my OBS knowledge is about yay big. It's telling me that my drop frames, it's a high number. It's 16,122, and as a percentage, it's saying 23.8%. But I've not knowingly seen that number come up before. So it could be my internet. I don't know. But 1 second. Okay, 1 second usually has 24 frames. So that number is a high number then. Let me just do a quick here. See, I'm not on there. Do a quick test over here. It might be Twitch itself. I have been kicked out of chatty as well. I mean, my internet speed isn't great just now, so it definitely could be an issue on my end. But the video will go to YouTube as well, so if you'd prefer to watch it there as well, there is that option. But I'm going to keep going because I genuinely don't know how to fix it. So I'll keep going and let's see what happens. So where I was going to go to was I was going to attempt to get this rebase plugin or rebase GitHub Action working, because I would love to be able to go up to a PR that I have open or that someone has opened, and I would like to be able to automatically rebase the PR on the current head of the branch. So this pull request that I have open should allow me to base. You might want to look into that later. I will. So if you have any suggestions, Brave Cobra, on what I should be looking for, I would welcome that as well. So if you have any suggestions about what to check, I would appreciate it. So I'm going to go back into this PR, and I am going to say, I'm going to use the / command, which is rebase. I'm going to comment. And what that should do is that should start a automatic rebase. So what I want to do is I want to look and see what's going on within this job to see if that rebase works. And it didn't. Could not be found at the URI 1.3. Okay, so there's the first problem. 404 not found. Love it. I was fairly sure that it said that. But let's have a look. View it in the marketplace. Oh, there is no 1.3 version. But it had a release 1.3. See, I'm slightly confused now because I thought there was a direct coupling between. I thought there was a direct coupling between the release and the published version. But maybe it's not been pushed because it was only, no, 12th of February, so it's been there a while. So why does that not work? Okay. That's a little strange. Okay. Well, let's go back to 1.2 then. So I want to remind myself of why it wasn't working. Oh, 1.2. And if I go back to that pull request and I say rebase again and comment, what does that get us? So we're back in here and we're looking to do a rebase. Oh, 18 seconds behind. That's interesting. How can it not? I'm so very confused as to why. Oh, uses. I've got a V in mine. Let's try this again. Yeah, I've got a V in mine. Uses. Let's not have a V in it. Bravecode was saying one obvious option is to reduce the quality, but the current 720 should be okay. I stream at higher quality easily, streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. While recording puts another heavy stress on the streaming box. Unless you have lots of live viewers on YouTube, stick to Twitch only. I've never streamed to YouTube, so I wouldn't imagine there'd be much. I am recording the file locally though, so but I've always done that. So that's always been there. Let's try this rebase command again. So back to actions and back into here. Okay, that's better. Let's see what it does. On the same disk as, yes, it is the same disk. Auto merging. Conflict. I kind of guess that's okay though, because conflict. Auto merging appver.yaml. Oh, what changes have I made in this PR? See that? I'm going to happily share my naivety and say I am on a Mac and I don't know how to find out whether or not there's heavy disk I/O at the minute. Why is it telling me that it's fixing all of these things when I haven't changed any files in there? First rewinding head to replay your work on top of it. Because in theory, I really want this action to work because I think it would save me a lot of time in the long run. But if it's going to be problematic, then let me clone this. CD into git branch minus a. This one, that one? Yes. Git switch there. Git. If I do it locally, what do I get? See, it just worked. So I tried switching to 1.3 Brave Cobra, but it said it doesn't exist. I go back over here, and I'm assuming this is what you're talking about. I go back to here, then there is a 1.3 release, but the latest published version, if we go over here, is 1.2. Doesn't have a 1.3 published version, so I don't understand why it's the two are mixed up there. So I did have that issue because that's why 1.2 wasn't working. But let's go back again. We go to here, then I mean I can try it. I'm happy to try it again, but I don't think it'll be there. So I'm happy to try it again. Let's try it again. One more time. Oh. Commit. Or comment rather. You're now in a loop saying it does not have a V. It sounds like a bit like a meme. Oh dear. Was it? Okay, so I'm confused. So it is there, but it's not there. But the automatic rebase is saying the same thing. So I'm confused as to what it's trying to do. So I was able to get the 1.3 version, so I have that, but it's still, the rebase it's attempting to do doesn't seem to want to work. Communicate inside the PR, support auto squash. There's no mention of any problems around this. What are you showing me there, Kim? Copy, paste. It looks like something is wrong with the rebasing. It is merged from the initial state of the. It is merging from the initial state of the repository. Right. So how does one stop that from happening? Because I don't think there's much to it in terms of the configuration. It's literally oh, hold on. Ahead of us. I think therein lies the problem. I think that's the problem. I think that wants to be developed. I think. I'm going to try that again. I think it could be that simple. Thanks for playing. So let's do. Kim's going out in the limb to say that that's definitely the problem. So let's see. Let's see, shall we? Starting your workflow run. Oh, that's not good. Oh no, hold on. Did I change the wrong thing? Uses. Oh no. That was the wrong master. That was the wrong thing to change. So that was the right one, I think. That's telling it to use the most recent checkout action from the its master branch, and then use the released version of 1.3 for the rebase action. So sorry, that was correct. But now that I'm thinking about it, I am thinking that Maurice is saying, no, yeah, I've caught up a little bit. So I think it could still be something, though. It could be something in this area, I think. I want to know that it's using the correct base branch. So we go back to one that was failing. This one. I wonder what some of these are. Let's see. I'm tempted to say we should start and stop the stream, but I don't see that that would have any difference. But I'm still getting lots of dropped frames. I do apologize for this. This is certainly not expected. I've not had this issue before. Base branch, so it does seem to be collecting things from the right information. So it is base branch for the PR is developed. So it's git fetch origin develop expected. From there, switching to that branch, git fetch the feature, branch, new branch, git checkout, switch to the new one, and then it's asking to git rebase origin on develop, git rebase on origin develop. Then it's saying rewinding head to replay your work on top of it, applying initial commit, and that's where it's failing. Why is it doing that? Although it is saying trailing white space. Have a little look at the history of this repository. Rodney's saying that potentially it's a Twitch issue because of it's popped up a message saying to mess with the settings. Scroll back down here. So you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do git push -f. I'm going to bring this feature branch up to date with the current develop. Right? And then I'm going to rebase it again using this tool and see what happens. This branch is out of date with the base. How can it be out of date with the base branch still? Can't be. You're lying. That's GitHub lying at that point, surely. I've just updated this thing. So how can that still be saying it's out of date? Oh no, I know how. Sorry. Git fetch origin. Git checkout develop. Git rebase origin develop. Git checkout feature. Git rebase on develop. Git push -f. It does. It does. Brave Cobra. The question there being Bitbucket doesn't do a full git fetch by default to optimize speed. Does GitHub do the same? It does. But I think that's what the checkout action's for. GitHub checkout action. Oh, go away. Really? Oh, go away. I believe there are some settings in here to allow you to fetches only a single commit by default, is what it's currently doing. Would you suggest that we do something different there? Clean fetch depth path 0 indicates all history. I mean, we could try that. What I did want to try though was I wanted to go over here and I'm going to make one little change to the develop branch, and I'm going to say oh, hold on, what have you been playing with, Maurice? We could certainly try that. So I'm going to force it to be out of date. So I'm going to, this extension brings support to Visual Studio Code. Try to think where I can change here. So let's do this. I'm going to make a change. You don't have the full history to successfully rebase on that Git checkout. Fair. So let's test this again. So we're only one commit out of date at this point. So I'm going to go back to this PR and I'm going to rebase this. And then I'm going to attempt to do, let's see what happens here. So if what Brave Cobra is suspecting is true, then we would expect that this rebase, which is only one commit out of date, will fail as well. So let's see what happens. Auto rebase, conflicts. Okay, failed. Beautiful. So there's a couple things then we can try. So the first one is strict path. Number of commits to fetch. We could change that to be 0, or we could do what Maurice is suggesting. So on his, he then ran a git fetch command to specifically go and force all of this. I'm going to try this method to start with. So let's go back into here, back into here. And yes, I see, yeah, because you needed to do that in order to get git version to work, Maurice. Yes, correct. So for checkout, we say uses, and then we should be able to put in, oh, look at that, fetch depth. Unknown key. No, I didn't mean shell. I meant fetch depth. Or width, sorry. So back to here, and we could say width colon like that. Let's try that as a first pass. Okay. Back to here and say rebase again. I so want this to work. So want this to work. Okay, that didn't make any difference. Did it actually? Commit. Okay, let's try what Maurice suggested. Put this over here. Let's try this. Oops. Grab a copy of this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that off. Oops. And I'm going to put this in here. Right. He's also using specifically v2. So let's. That gives us a more repeatable build because we're not pulling from the master branch. So let's put that in as well. Oh, we need to rebase as well. Rebase. There it goes. Check out. Got all the history. Hold on. Hold on. Did that just work? If it is, that's an amazing suggestion from Brave Cobra there. Look at that. GitHub Actions bot force pushed. Okay. I think that just rebased the branch onto the head of the develop branch. I think. So if we have a wee sneaky peek here and say git fetch origin. And this is my local one, but this one has moved up to the head of the developer. Oh my goodness. That just worked. Okay. So then the next test. And yes, Maurice, the suggest that the git fetch git fetch prune and unshallow got us to where we needed to be. So the next one is to do it from a fork and see if that works. So Maurice, or someone in the chat room who wants to play along, can one of you create a PR to this cake recipe VS Code to put back in the full stop that I removed from the readme.md? Because what I would like to then be able to do is to rebase and have it push the changes back to your fork. Can you use the PR? Oh, hold on. Add code of content. Okay, let's do that then. So stand down, anyone else that was creating a PR. Let's use Kim's one. So first thing to check is that did Kim open this PR in such a way that we can do that? Yes, he did. So we can add more commits by pushing to the patch 1 branch. So let's do this. So the appver build behind this just succeeded. So it's complaining because it wants a reviewer on it, but I'm going to say that's fine. So no idea why it didn't get up to date. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Kim, but I'll go back to you in a second. So I'm going to delete that branch. So now the head of the develop is ahead of the PR that Kim created. So let's have a look. We're adding a new code of conduct.md. Beautiful. Right. What's this? There is a general recommendation that all open source projects to provide a code of conduct in the repository. This PR adds the v2.0 code of conduct from here. Note, remember to replace insert contact method with the method to contact information on where to report instances of abuse, harassment, and so on. Okay, so I see. So I expect that if I do the rebase here, it's going to fail. But let's try it. I expect that this rebase command will not work. But let's give it a wee try. Because in order for it to work, it needs an auth token to be able to send the PR back to where it came from. And at the minute, I don't think I've set that up. So this should fail. And Maurice is saying, I think Twitch is solving its issues. I'm able to view the stream a little better. Not perfect, but better. So for the last little while, I've had a solid green indicator in the bottom right hand corner of OBS, whereas before it was fluctuating all over the place. So it's solid green at the minute, so it looks like it could be better. So this automatic rebase failed, and that's fine. Remote rejected. There we go. Refusing to allow GitHub app to create or update the workflow without workflow. Oh, hold on, that's different. Git push to patch 1 to there. Right, okay, now that's fine. Right. So what I need to do, if I go back to my YAML here, I need this thing. I need a secrets GitHub token. Haha. So, first of all, I need to find out where that secrets would go. So I'm going to go off stream a little bit. I'm going to put a little browser down in my bottom right hand corner here. And I'm going to have a wee look around to see where such an item would go. And if I can find it without giving the game away, then I'll maybe bring it onto the other screen. So first of all, let's go up to github.com/gep13/OSS and cake recipe VS Code. And if I go to settings, there is a secrets tab. Now in that repository secrets, I can add, and I can do it at the organizational level as well. Interesting. Okay. So, secrets are environment variables that are encrypted and only exposed to selected actions. Anyone with collaborator access to this repository can use these secrets in a workflow. Secrets are not passed to workflows that are triggered by a pull request from a fork. Secrets are not passed to workflows that are triggered by a pull request from a fork. You know you're doing okay when so, but this one is triggered from an issue comment. Interesting. So that's not a PR. So therefore, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. So if I add a new secret down here with the name of GitHub _ token, right? And that's exactly where I was going with that thought process, Kim. I think we're okay there. So if I go to my token, which is this guy, copy, paste, paste, copy something random into my clipboard so I don't have this, I don't make the same mistake I did last year. I've grown. I'm gonna say add secret. Oh. You are right, Maurice. So the comment that Maurice made there in the chat room is, I'm not sure you can override the GitHub _ secrets. You're right. It just said failed to add secret. So what does this thing want then? This thing wants what does this, because this thing specifically said that, what did it say? It said in its 1.3 workaround to allow to specify user tokens to support rebases from PRs or forks. Does it allow you to do certificates? I don't know the answer to that one, Rodney. Someone else in the chat room might go. Echo API responses 1.3. See, I don't see that that's helped any. Oh, okay. Let's try this then. I don't think you can rebase in their repo. Only your own, you have permission. So I'm going to finish my thought process. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this user token. And I'm going to commit my changes. And over here, I'm going to say user token. And then in here, I know you can't see this, but that's good. I'm going to grab this guy again. I'm going to paste this in, copy and paste that, add secret. Okay. I'm going to go back to this PR and I'm going to say rebase again. And I did that as well, Maurice. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, but I did remember to do it that time. So if we go back to here, let's see what happens this time. Dun, dun, dun. It's doing the automatic rebase, and it failed. Still didn't allow me to push it back again. But yeah, so the setting that Kim was talking about there Brave Cobra is this one. So if the user, when they created the PR, allows a maintainer here to push this, if it allows a maintainer of the repository that the PR is going into, then you can push things back to them, including a force push. Do note the maintainers can only update the branch or fork. Correct. But to the best of my knowledge, this should have been attempting to push to patch 1. Refusing to allow a GitHub app to create or update a workflow without workflow's permission. What does that mean? Let's have a little look to see if that brings up anything. Apologies. So that error message is suggesting that is potentially a great shout, Maurice. Let's create a new token. That is an awesome suggestion. Let's try that. So we want, so what permissions do we want? We want repo permissions, and we want workflow. The AI mighty. So I've given it repo permissions, write packages, read packages, delete packages, no. Admin org, no. Admin public key, no, no. Gist, no. Notifications, no. Delete repo, no. No. Admin enterprise, no. Workflow and GPG, no. So I've given it repo permissions and I've given it workflow permissions. I'm going to say generate token. Testing rebase. Testing rebase action. That's what I'm going to call it. Generate a token. Okay. Copy. github.com/get15. Oh, sorry. The almighty rebase token. I like it. Settings. Oh no, it was on the repository. So this was over on GEP13, OSS, cake, recipe VS Code. Settings, secrets. Where's secrets? Secrets is here. I know you can't see this, but again, do not share this token. This has all. I'm going to update this with a value called, oh, where'd it go? Copy, paste, copy, paste. Copy something that's not it. Beautiful. Update secret. Okay, so I've set that one called user token now. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. One more time into the breach. Let's do another rebase of Kim's PR. Comment. actions, actions, doc, rebase. Drum roll, please. Checking it out, fetching the history, automatic rebase, automatic rebase, rejected. I had high hopes that was going to work. I had high hopes. There is a lot of trial and error, Brave Cobra. I fully agree. So let's go back and have a little look at here. And I'm going to search this for fork. One closed issue. Support PRs from fork. It's closed. When trying to rebase a PR from a fork repository, the action fails with not supported. It would be very useful if this was supported. Blah, blah, blah. Fortunately, GitHub token was not working with forks at the time. I don't think anything changed. I was able to solve a similar issue pushing to protected branches in a different action. Instead of using GitHub token for the push, the user creates a secret foo token that contains one of the developers of the projects, adds it to the environment, and adds an option push token. The same thing should work for PRs from forks, assuming that they allow. Seems your workaround will work for the action then. You need to create, and then the action. Secrets are not exposed to the PRs from forks, so this is a viable workaround. Is there really no way around this? Support PRs. For months. Automatic rebase plus force push doesn't work on fork PRs. The majority do not have the same permissions as collaborators. Because essentially what I've done is this. I've done this. But that doesn't work. What does this one do? Support PRs from forks. So this works only if the allow edit for maintainers option is checked. And the GitHub token variable is set using a developer token. Use the username and email address for the committer. Instead of using generic names and addresses, fetch the information from the GitHub API. If an environment variable, some users to rebase the PRs by setting I think you should do the user customization. I just don't like that solution, but unfortunately it seems to be the only other way to support it at the minute. Where is committer token coming from? And user email and username. So what did this PR actually do? We should check that, shouldn't we? Login, user login, GitHub event path. User login. Oh, hold on. Did I choose a bad name? Because I called this thing user token. Let's maybe call it something else. Copy. New. GitHub OAuth token. Copy. Paste. Add secret. I've tried entering GitHub OAuth token and it's told me that it's failed to add the secret, name is invalid again. You can create GitHub OAuth token variable from your personal OAuth token and use it with the action. So I've literally tried exactly that and it doesn't work. No, I think this should work. I really do. But I'm slightly confused as to, let's try this one then. Let's try this and we'll just call it OAuth token. Copy. Back over to here. So close. I've just changed the name of this thing slightly in case it causes any sort of ambiguity. Okay, hold on. You want me to change this to be so you want me to try this? GEP13 underscore token. Meaning I don't need the user secret? The OAuth token one? I'm going to wait for a response on that one. You can try what you have first though. I'm on to you, Brave Cobra. I'm on to you. Okay, let's try this first. So we've currently got OAuth token. Once upon a time, I might have done something like that. But I'm a new man. I'm a new man. Okay, so this will remove any ambiguity about user underscore token being used. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. So let's try this, and then we'll try what Kim's suggesting here. Automatic rebase rejected. Okay. So let's go back to here and we'll try the other suggestion then. So we're using that, and instead of GitHub token, we'll use this. So you change the capitals. So let's go back to this. Get13 underscore token is equal to the OAuth token. Let's do this then. And one more time. Rebase, comment. And over here, actions. Actions. Rebase. Oh, that seemed to be quicker. Do we also set the GitHub token variable? Do we set both? We could try that. At this point, I'm happy to try. So let's put this in and say GitHub token, and it was $ secrets dot GitHub underscore token, like that. Let's try both. Once more. Rebase. And if this doesn't work, I'm almost tempted to write a message back to that person to see exactly how they've got it set up. Rebase it. Git push. Patch. Did it work? Did it? Did it really? Did it really? Kim, did it? Did it? Did it? Branch. Oh, we're on that branch already. Commits. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. So now this branch is up to date. So that's, I think that's what I did, Kim, right? So this is using the default one. So is that what you're saying? You said almost looks that way. The GitHub token could probably be set to the default one. So that's what I did there, right? So that is the default one. I don't have a secret called GitHub token. I do have a secret called OAuth token. But as I said, be aware that only you can do. Yes. So hold on there. So this will limit to only me being able to do that. But we also tried putting GitHub token into here, and that didn't work. Okay, so I'm getting confused messages back here. I tried to take this and put it into here, and the rebase didn't work. Doing this made the rebase work for my user only. So anyone else writing the command, the rebase command, wouldn't work, I think. But if I wanted to give other folks permission to do the rebase, then we would need to add additional entries into here and have a repository secret created to allow that to happen. I don't know if that would work. We could certainly try that, Maurice. So, Kim, did you want to try writing the rebase command in here and see what happens? Please. I would imagine that it would trigger the action. It's just whether the action would do anything. It's doing something. Oh, I see what we did. That won't do anything. Well, okay, let's change something else then. Let's do this. Let's put my full stop back in. Let's change this. I'm going to put my full stop back in. I had the same idea, Maurice. Yes. Okay, so Kim, do you want to try doing a oh, he's done it already. So, okay. So what's this going to do? Automatic rebase. It did it. So back to so who has it got it updated by this time? It'll still say me, right? No, it doesn't say me at all. How did that work? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I think the PR users. I think the PR users GitHub token is now used to do that. Talk to you in a bit, Rodney. Thanks for hanging out. Can you add me as a contributor? We can try. Maybe work because I am the author. Perhaps. Okay. So the next test maybe then is what Maurice is suggesting. So let's make this PR out of date again, shall we? So I'm going to remove that full stop again. Edit. I'm going to remove the full stop. The history of this repository is going to be amazing. We're going to commit changes. Okay, so this pull request is now essentially out of date, right? This branch is out of date. So if I come in here and I say manage access, and I say Kevin R. Oh no, it's not where I want to type it. I want to do it up here. I want to say Kevin R. This guy. I'll give you write permissions, Maurice. Add Kevin R to cake recipe. Right, you're in there. Right. So if we go back to pull requests, so Maurice, how about you type rebase into the comment and let's see what happens. So exciting. Let's remove some of this stuff. Okay, comment there, rebase, code of conduct, rebase. So we're sort of expecting this to fail, right? This shouldn't work. That could have been a good test as well. We've missed that boat. Oh, it did it. Look at that. It pushed it. So if we go back to this. How is it working? Oh, I hope not, Kim. So why is it working? Is it working because of the addition? If it's working because of the addition of my token, then why is it allowing Maurice's name to come up there? Part of me is really happy that it's working, but magic. Part of me is happy that it's working because this is like the amount of time that this will save me from doing multiple fetches, rebases, all that sort of stuff. I would kind of want to know a little bit more as to exactly what it's doing though. But this is awesome. So where do we want to leave this then? Because, I mean, it's obviously working, but it wasn't, and to confirm, it wasn't working when we just put this OAuth token into here, right? I would leave it with ship it. I mean, it's... part of me is tempted to leave it, but... So, Brave Cobra, are you still around? Because if you are, I'd be curious about one more test. Or is there anybody left in the chat room that's not either the creator of the PR or a contributor on the repository? Because if there's anyone there that could type 7 characters into a pull request for me, I would be very appreciative. Okay, so Brave Cobra then, can you go into the pull request that's open from Kim and type in the rebase command here, please? Perfect. But I wonder if what Kim suggested there was, I wonder if it didn't work because the YAML file wasn't updated in the fork. I mean, maybe. Because I don't know. Let's wait and see what happens when Brave Cobra adds the rebase command. And then it'll be a case of wrapping up at that point, because it's starting to get almost to my bedtime soon. So we would want this to not work, right? We would want this to fail, because it should only be contributors that can push back. But even if it is only contributors, what we saw was no, it worked. GitHub.com/admiringworm. What was I looking for there? Back to, let's put Brave Cobra on there. I so want this to work though, Maurice. I don't want to revoke the action. I don't want to revoke it. To the README, Maurice, or to something else? I can do that, yeah. What are you thinking? I'm going to take that full stop out again. I'm going to try type it again with my work account. Okay. Oh no, I get the, but what I'm concerned about Brave Cobra is that it's, I mean, I see what you're saying there. Is like, why? Because there's no way of knowing the email address of the token. So it's just it's bringing the email address of the yeah. Exactly, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. So I've made that change, Maurice. I'm not entirely clear on what you're trying to do here, but I'm willing to let you try it. So I might follow up with the gentleman who created. So that's it off and running. I mean, based on Brave Cobra successfully executing this action, then I think this should work as well. There's no reason that this shouldn't work. But let's see. Oh. So what made you think it should not work? What made you think it should not work, Maurice? Because based on all the suppositions so far, it should still be using my token. That's what I was wondering about, Kim, the hyphen. That's what I was wondering about as well. Okay, so let's do this, because it's coming to the end of the day. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to remove this guy. I'm going to remove this guy. And I'm also going to come over here. I'm going to remove the token that I added. And I'm going to save that. And I think I want to follow up with the folks on Sirius. Issues. Fork. Closed. Support PRs from forks. So let me, where was the PR? I've been using success with my bunch for months now. So that's, he did exactly what, this is what he was doing. He adds one for each user. But that should not allow me to run rebase. So if we search this for rebase in issues, I was trying to find an example of where they've used it. So they're actively using it. And then, oh, look at this though. On their one, it says DRD and force pushed. When it happened on our one, it said GitHub Actions bot force pushed. But on their one, it was this guy. Let's have a little sneaky peek at their workflow. Rebase PR. That was one I was just in, wasn't it? Oh, they're using a different one. PR from fork. Oh no, he's using. I'm so confused now. So he's got github.com/this one, which is a fork from there, and there's a branch on there called PR from fork. 3 commits ahead. So have not all of those been merged in? Is that what it is? Commits. Allow user-based tokens. Use username. Support PR from forks. So it would appear that there is potentially other stuff in here. Yeah. Looks like there's more stuff. Okay. Transparency all the way. Indeed, Brave Cobra. I mean, it's part of the allure, isn't it? So I'm not convinced that if we browse this thing, I'm not convinced that this is the same as what's in the other one. So indeed, I have as well, Maurice. I need to draw this to a close. But this has been fun. I thought. I think we have. I'm on the cusp of having something working. So stay safe and stay at home. Indeed, I think Maurice was onto something earlier. The reason it didn't work when specifying the user token was because the environment variable was in lowercase, but probably needed to be in uppercase. So you think? So what I'm going to say is that an open PR on the? I'm going to come back to this. So I'm going to look at this off stream, I think, and we're going to come back and we're going to finish this next Monday. I think is what I'm going to. So thinking caps on, and happy to test some more stuff out once we get back. But the reason it didn't work when only specifying the user token was because the environment variable was in lowercase, but probably they need to be in uppercase. I'm going to come back. We'll play with this later, but I want to say that these folks. I mean, this looks like a fairly active repo that these folks have got here. So I can't imagine that they would have left it running if things weren't working the way they wanted it to. And I like the fact that it's got. Yeah, I'm going to come back and play with this. That's what I'll come back and play. Right, anyway. I'm going to push my button on my Stream Deck and it should shut everything down. So I'm going to click it and then everything's going to go back to the way I left it. So I'm going to say bye-bye. Thanks for playing and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.